Good afternoon. How many of you have seen the inside of a church? Let me tell you this. Good, wonderful. Let me tell you this story about a priest who came in first time to church, trembling at the knees. He had a small sermon scribbled on paper, obviously the points. But the poor man was standing next to the window. A gush of wind took away his papers. I face the same situation today. I had a presentation ready in my own little way. The laptop doesn't work today. So I am stranded. Nevertheless, we have to have a plan B. So I've just got the papers all scribbled ready with me. Let's see, make the best of it. The earlier speakers here have actually set in the tone for things to come, standards. I don't know whether I can keep up to those standards, but I shall certainly try. I just want to touch on the aspect of HR. To me, what does it mean? If you see, you can divide it into chapters, you can divide it into volumes, you can also write thesis and papers on it, get a doctorate. But if you ask me what is HR, it is touching the human being. I am reminded of a song, You Raise Me Up. I don't know how many of you have heard this song. It's by Josh Groban. I don't remember the words, but I'll just give you a gist of it. It says that I'm tired and weary, nothing works for me. When I have a load on my shoulders, I would want you to come and sit a while with me. Raise me up so that I can stand on mountains. Raise me up so I can face the seas. It goes something like that. My aim at HR, or rather our team's aim at HR, is to do exactly this. You give me a person, I try to take out the best of that person. Everybody has got something in there. Nobody, let me insist on that, nobody, the smallest, the tiniest, everybody has got some talent which lies dormant or hidden somewhere. My job in HR, our job in HR is to just get out that talent. That is what we do. Everything else follows. Culture, commitment, everything, all the 3 C's of HR. What else? You can name all those schemes. Everything else follows. The basic fact is you have to be holding a person when he or she needs you. You have to be guiding a person when that person himself or herself does not know the path forward. That is what to me HR stands for and HR means. Developing the inner talents, developing what they have within them, but what is not shown or cannot be shown or probably hidden. They themselves do not know about it. That is to me what HR is. If you look at it in another way, I would say it is changing perspectives. How can you do that? Yes, by changing perspectives. Everybody has a certain mindset, a certain way of looking at things. You have to change that perspective. A blind man used to sit outside a town hall and obviously do his begging. He had a small signboard which said, I am blind, please help me. Well, stray people walking across, some would put in something, others would just walk past. Out of the town hall, I am trying to make a little story myself also. Some of you who have seen the video will know that. From the town hall walks an HR professional, sees that board, walks a few steps, comes back, scribbles something on that board, puts it in front of that person and walks off. What happens is people start trickling their money. You can hear the sound of money into his tin box that he had. This blind man can also hear it. He can't see, but he can hear it. So one day when this HR professional, as usual, goes, he catches hold of her, it's a lady, and asks her, "What is it you wrote that provides me more money today?" And she said, "All I did was, I changed the writing on the board. You write, I am blind, I cannot see. I said, it's a beautiful day and I cannot see." It's how you look at things. It's how you look at things. You have to change perspectives. The person who does not know something is hidden inside him or her, if you change perspectives, all these things can be changed. A rich man, filthy rich, I'll call it that way. Apologies to all the owners here. Filthy rich had all the luxuries in life, but this man had a pure problem. He had a pricking sensation in one of his eyes, the right eye. Now, being rich, he had access to all the best medical facilities in town, or even in other towns and cities, maybe countries. He went everywhere. Best healers, did everything that one could do, but that pain did not leave him. That pricking sensation in the eye did not leave him. So, being an ordinary mortal, though rich, what do you and me do when faced with such a situation? We turn to all the sadhus and babas and sons. That's the last resort. So we go down there. This gentleman also, when everything failed, he went to the saint in town. There was a saint who probably had a good following also. So he went to that saint and said, "Look, I have a sensation in my eye. It really hurts. Is there any way I can remove it? Do you know of something that can be done?" He says, "Oh yes, very simple. All you have to do is just see yellow. All you have to do is just see yellow." He said, "Done. How does it matter? Loads of money. Change everything to red. Change the sofas, the beds, the curtains, the house. Damn everything, change it to yellow. The pain has to go." He went home, called all his servants. As I told you, he changed everything to yellow. Days went by, the pain did not go. This hermit, this Baba came visiting to see what has happened. The moment he came to the door, his assistants threw yellow paint on him. And the Baba said, "There lies the problem. You are trying to change the world when all you have to do was just wear yellow glasses. But you went on painting everything yellow. It's how you see. That is what matters." We at HR try to change perspectives. This is our job. Changing people, what they don't have, telling them, or what they have, making them discover their inner riches. But the problem with us is, we go around trying to change everybody except ourselves. When I was young, I was full of energy, maybe 16 years, 17, 18 years. I could change everything. So I went out to change the world. I tried a lot. Few years went by and I found I couldn't change the world. So I said, "Damn the world, let's change my country." Sorry for using a little these words. I'm just trying to be casual with you. So I tried to change the country. I tried enough, wasted a few years, could not change the country. So I said, "I'll change the town I live in." I tried changing my town. That also did not change. Years went by. So I said, "Nothing changes. The best I can do is change my family." So I tried changing my immediate family. That also did not change. What happened was, from the age of 18, I have reached 55 and the world hasn't changed. Nothing has changed. Suddenly I thought, to hell with everybody, let me change myself. So I tried changing myself, and I suddenly discovered a mantra. If I change myself, my family changes. If the family changes, the town changes, the country changes, the world changes. So what you have to do and what I have to do is changing ourselves, being in HR. We cannot preach what we do not practice. So let that be the mantra from my side. Feeling the pulse of the people is very, very important. We have tailors, very lowly. All they do is survive on a daily meal probably. They find you give him $50 more, he'll land up with you. Those kind of people. But to retain them, you have to find their inner blessings and promote them to a level where they feel they are wanted and they are capable of achieving better things. There are a lot of things that you can do with it, job rotation, this, that, making them participate. Fair enough, I'm not getting into all those things. So, the gist of what I'm trying to say is, in HR we try to change people by helping them discover their inner virtues. This is what we do in HR, and this is what we try to do in our organization. This is all I have to say about the HR part that we do. Now coming to the CSR activities. I will talk only from the benevolence angle. It stems again from doing all good things. I'm reminded of a story of American President Abraham Lincoln. A young lad who was too poor or came from a very humble background, did not have money to buy books. So he just walked into the president's place. Now those days you did not have the black commandos and the Navy SEALs and all that, so you could just go down and talk. So this guy comes and says, President, I need a loan. He said, all right, for what? For books. I'm too poor to buy books. So the president gave him $1. This guy went out, bought his books, studied, grew up to be a worthy character, did great for himself. One day, while relaxing and reminiscing of the good old days, he remembered that loan that he had taken of $1. He hurriedly got up and went back to the president and said, if you don't remember me, here it is, the $1 you gave me, the loan, here it is, back to you. The president said, hold on, keep it with you. When others come to you asking for help, please give it to them. It is said that the dollar still rotates in the United States of America. So for us, we try to give back to society what we ourselves have got in our lifetime. We have an industrial training department at our place where we train operators. We just catch them raw from the streets and train them. We don't care whether they go. There's no contract. There's no documents we get signed from them. So if you want to go, you go. It doesn't matter. But we are trying to help those people. Maybe he will gain or she will gain employment elsewhere, maybe better wages, we don't know. But that's not the intent. The intent is to give back to society something that you always wanted to do. What do we propose to do? We have some ideas to do. Look, let me admit something now. I have never worked in the garment industry. This is my first time that I'm here in the garment industry. I wouldn't know garments better than any of you because I'm only 10 months old here. When I came, I had a talk with some of my colleagues. One of them remarked, Robin, nothing matters in the garment industry. Only one thing matters, that is ship and date. That's all that matters. Everything else is secondary. That's where you start and you go along. I hope to change that. Have I been successful? A big no. I still haven't. Probably I haven't yet started. Let me admit that. But I intend to change it if I stay in the garment industry. There is no doubt about it. We must change these things. If we don't change, we go on with the same mindset. We will keep harping on those same things. This is how we work here, boss. We've done it for 30 years, we've done it for donkey's years. That's it. We have to change these perspectives in HR. And I hope to change it through my able team that we have and wonderful owners that we have. Thank you very much.